Hey, welcome to Text Time. Let's keep this short and sweet. This is the first time I'm seeing the Steam Deck. It just arrived today, so I'm going to be opening it in front of you with my first reactions. I hope you like the video, and let's jump right in. So this is the box that it comes in for shipping, and once you open the box, you'll be greeted with this. So I noticed that on here it says on the toilet, so I assume all of these are different languages for the same thing, on the toilet. And you have, of course, the little attention paper right here that shows you how to use it and how to charge it and how to turn it on. And on the back, it will show you where to put the expansion card or the SD card, and it will show you some information about the settings on the device as well. Moving on the side, you have the charger. So for the charger, it just looks like a normal brick, and no, this does not open or close. I was hoping that this would flip closed, just for the portability of the device if you wanted to take the charger with you, but it's not that big of a deal, and it's a USB-C, so that's pretty good. You could charge it with multiple different chargers. And of course, you got yourself some papers and packages. Definitely read it, but you know. And next up, you have the actual device. It comes in a little protective case, and you just go ahead around the back and open it. And then you have a little bit of a cardboard packaging that tells you a little bit more about what's in the package and a little bit more about the device. So it just says contains the device, or the video game machine as they call it, and the case, which is that right here. And looking at the bottom side, you'll have a bunch of warnings. What I did notice about this case, and what made me very impressed, is that it has multiple different ways to use it for traveling. So you can use this to have it be on your traveling bag or on the arm of your backpack or whatever you want. And there's a little sleeve right here, so if you wanted to take anything with you, some cables or SD cards or the charger. So it's a little nice touch that they include this. And next up from there, of course, you have a handle, and then you have a little lock on the zippers. You would need to just cut this. And finally, you have the actual Steam Deck, which comes presented to you like this. And honestly, it's much bigger than I expected. From the videos I've seen, it looked a bit smaller, but I kind of prefer this because it feels like the screen is pretty big to where you're not going to be squinting to try and see what it is you're trying to do. The buttons are pretty nice. They don't feel floaty or anything. And of course, you have the buttons that you can map on the back. And then aside from the device, you also get a little cleaning cloth, which is nice. And the case also has this little strap on the back, so that way when you're trying to get it out, you don't have to dig your fingers in. You can just lift it up and you can get your device. So overall, so far, they were pretty thoughtful on all the stuff that they included, the little things that just make your life easier, which of course I like a lot, so thumbs up for that. And now for the moment of truth. You have the power button up top right here. You just press and hold it for a little bit. So I'm gonna have to plug it in for a bit, and then we'll come right back. So once I plugged it in, it seems like it's trying to turn on. And it seems like it's indeed turning on, and it's not dead. I wonder why it wasn't starting earlier. Aha, and that's why you should read the instructions. So it wanted me to plug it in and then turn it on. So it's pretty different from any device I've tried before, because usually you just power it on, but plugging it in is something new. So this is just the setup process. You'll get to pick your language, so go with English, and then you'll get to pick your time zone. And then after that, you'll connect it to your Wi-Fi. And then right now it's trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, and it's done. So hit continue. It's downloading right now the newest software update. And then after it's done, we'll be able to get started. I honestly did not expect that I would be able to hear it, but I already hear the fan. It's very quiet, but you can hear it. I'll put it up closer to the microphone, maybe you could hear it too. So right now it's restarting after it's done the update. And I guess this is the best time to show you guys around the device. You have the power button up top, and then you have the LED that shows you when it's charging. And then after that you have the charger, and you have a headphone jack, of course, which is great. And you have your volume rockers up here. And around the back you have the ventilations for the fan. You have also ventilations up top. And lastly, if you look at the bottom, there's just the area for the SD card, and that's it. That was a pretty cool start. And here it prompts you to log into your Steam account, of course. You need to have one because, you know, it's a Steam Deck. It will make it much easier for you to play your games. Also, I wanted to mention, somebody might ask, what if I don't have a Steam account? What if I don't want to use a Steam account? Which, I don't know why you bought a Steam Deck, but for example, right here, there's a cancel button. If you press it, nothing happens. Of course, you need a Steam account to use the Steam Deck. I wonder why they left a cancel button. And the typing experience on here is pretty easy. You can just use it as if you're using a console. You can use the joystick or you can use the buttons to navigate to whatever you want, and you can select by hitting A. Or you have a third option that you can use, and this would be the touchpad or the touch pads, because it's a little weird. So if you notice, if I start from the left side on the touchpad and I move my finger over, it starts from the very left right here and it goes all the way to about J. So you can't go all the way to the other end with this finger. You have to use the other touchpad because this one starts from the right side and goes all the way to the middle as well. So that way, if you wanted to use this, you can type with this finger, and then after that you would need to type with this one, which is a little weird, so it's probably better to use this up here. Also, I forgot to mention that the screen is a touch screen, so you can type this way as well. You don't have to use the buttons or the joysticks. After you log into Steam, you'll be able to view your library from here, and you'll notice as well that there's an option that says Great on Deck. That means these are the games optimized for deck. So for example, there's Apex or Ark or Dark Souls, but at least these are the ones in my library. There's a lot more that are good for the deck that are on the store, and I like that they do this. That way I don't have to keep trying every game to see what works and what doesn't. It just tells you what works, and you'll be able to tell by, if you hover over a game, you'll see that green check mark, which means it is compatible. If there's a question mark, that means it might be compatible, and some of them just flat out tell you that they're not compatible. But most of the time, if a game can work with a controller, it will most likely work with the Steam Deck. So what better game to show off the Steam Deck than God of War? And of course, this is a mobile device. Don't expect to be able to run everything on the highest graphics. I'm running the game right now on high graphics, but not ultra. And I have some of the shadows and reflections turned down to the lowest, just to have the game run at a smooth frame rate. And you can already hear the fan going, and you can definitely feel heat coming out from the device. But once you turn up the volume for the game, you'll barely hear the fan. And of course, for anybody who hasn't played God of War yet, this is no spoilers. This is literally at the first 2 minutes of the game. So I'll just show you how the Steam Deck performs when you're playing a game like God of War.
You are not me! Stay back!
And there you go. So now a couple things to mention. First off, the video you're watching right now is being shot at 24 frames per second. So of course you're not going to see it running at a higher frame rate. You're just going to see 24. But the Steam Deck is actually running at a smooth 60 FPS. For me at least, just because you can't see it through the video. But the game is very playable for sure. And don't worry about how badly I did. This is the first time I'm getting the game, and I have it on the highest difficulty. Now, a couple of things to mention as well. Right here, you have two microphones for the Steam Deck. They're pretty hard to see, but they're about pinhole sized. There's one right here, and here's the second one. So both of these pick up your voice if you're in a game like Call of Duty, for example. That way you can still speak in the microphone, and they're pretty nice because they're tuned to where they can't hear the fan from the device. So even when the fan was ramping up, I went to the settings to look at the master volumes, and the microphone was not picking up that sound, but it was picking up my voice. So overall, for this initial review, I actually like the device a lot. I feel like it's a pretty good option for if you wanted something on the go, and it's actually much cheaper than computers that have the same exact specs. You can get a desktop or a laptop with these same exact specs, and they would cost you more than just buying something like this. And on top of that, this one allows you to be able to play even without it plugged in. You don't need it to be plugged in for it to be very smooth and still playable. And of course, you have the benefit of being able to throw this in your bag and game on the go. Now, like I said before, it's pretty big, so it's not gonna fit in your pocket or anything like that, unless you're Linus. But aside from that, the device is going to need to be either within the bag that it came with, or you're gonna need to be able to put it somewhere safe while you move around. And it's heavy enough to where it feels like it's good quality, but not heavy to the point to where you feel like it's fatiguing. So you can play long sessions without needing to put it down. However, I noticed that the battery doesn't last very long when you're playing a game as demanding as this, because it does heat up and the fan is always on. But you can easily plug it in with any USB-C charger. Now, not all chargers are created equal. The one that comes with it is a 45-watt charger. So that 45-watt charger is enough to keep it running and charge it at the same time. But if you plug it in at a lower charger, for example, a phone charger, it will give you a warning telling you that this is a slow charger, to where it will still probably drain your battery while you're playing a game like this until it slowly dies, but it would last longer than without a charger, of course. So this concludes the initial review for the Steam Deck. I just got it today. So let me know if you have any questions about the Steam Deck, and I'll probably make another follow-up video. Also, I read all comments, so if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to put them in that video for you. I hope you learned something new, and have a great rest of your day.